Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. I'm Nightingale. If you're new here, we usually do makeup content, gaming content, occasional pet content. You can see Jazz behind me. And just kind of anything, unboxings, anything else that I come up with. And my content kind of follows my life in a lot of ways. So what I make depends on what I'm going through at the time, or what I'm dealing with, or what I'm interested in at the time. And if you're new here, I was recently cast in a play, Jane Eyre, adapted by Willis Hall at our local community theater. And I've had a lot of friends over the years who are not involved with theater who have been like, gosh, that seems so fun, but I don't know how, I never took theater. I don't know what to do. Like, I'd be too afraid. I don't know how to memorize lines, etc., etc., etc. In fact, I'm married to a guy who has said half of those things. Not the it looks fun part. I could never do that. I'd have stage fright. I can't memorize lines parts. He has no desire to be on stage as far as I know. No, he's shaking his head no. So, but I thought, okay, I have time. And I was a certified theater teacher. I taught high school theater for 7 years, and I also taught theater at a summer camp for a year. So that gives me, we're just going to call it 7 years experience teaching teenagers how to be in plays. And I figured I would take you along and show you my process of being in a play and kind of give you a how to be in plays if you've never been in a play before and didn't take theater in high school. So if you're interested in learning the process of creating a character, memorizing how to memorize lines, my trick to it anyways, and all of that. This is a series. It will last as long as the play does, and we'll just go through the different parts as we get there. So this first one is going to encompass auditions and what to do when you first get your role in your script. Okay, so first of all, what you wear to an audition depends greatly on the, how do I put this? The vibe of the theater you're auditioning at. Now, I live in rural Arkansas, and I have been involved with this community theater for 15 years. I've been in probably 10 different, I've been on stage in about 10 different, give or take a few, performances, and then I've been backstage for at least that many. I've been on the board of directors, as president, as secretary, as treasurer, as vice president. I've been involved with this place deeply over the last 15 years, but I'm coming back from about a year and a half, 2 years off. So in that time, the vibe changed slightly. And when I joined, most of the people involved were what we refer to as the old guard. And we refer to them lovingly as the old guard. And they were a mix of people mostly over 60 who had been involved with this playhouse since it opened in the 70s. Our theater celebrated its 50th season in 2021 during COVID. So it's a community theater that's been around for a while. And a lot of the people that had been in it when I started 15 years ago were those original people. And there was very much a hierarchy. You know, there was the old guard and there was the newcomers. And there was kind of a very big wall between the two. Over the last 15 years, those people who were in their 50s, 60s, and 70s when I joined are now in their 70s, 80s, 90s, or no longer with us. So there's been a big shift in the community, in the theater over the past 15 years. And now, scared to say it, but I'm considered one of the old guard because I've been involved for 15 years. Kind of. I'm coming back from a year and a half off. So that kind of means like, are you back or are you just doing a show? They got to see if I'm going to stick around and be involved. And I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to be in a show or if I'm going to stick around and be involved like I used to. I don't know yet. What does all of that mean? Well, when I started at the Playhouse, The audition rule, they weren't really rules because they weren't written, but the unwritten rules of auditions were pretend it's Broadway. Meaning you come to auditions wearing all black, black pants, a plain black shirt. Your hair should be modest but nothing crazy. You could wear it down if you want. You can put it in a bun depending on the show. Your makeup should be done, but it shouldn't be high glam. It should be very natural. You could do a little bit of a smoky eye, but generally very natural. Just let the director see your blank canvas. And then they would not tell you, like they wouldn't give the scenes ahead of time. You put down your age and what age range you can play in. At that point, I could play teenager to young adult, to adult. Now I'm checking adult and older adult. I can't play a teenager anymore. And you'd get up on stage and you do what's called a cold reading. And a cold reading is basically you take the script you've never seen before in your life and you read it and you try to put some character into it. You have about 5 seconds when you get the script to read it over and figure out what kind of character it is. And if you're lucky, the director might give you 2 sentences on their vision for the character, and you try to portray that on stage to the best of your abilities. Everybody else is at the same place, and that's it. If you walk into an audition that's that type of audition that's a very strict cold read, one, until you know, wear black to auditions. Black shirt, black pants. If you don't have black pants, fine, wear dark blue jeans. Make sure they are clean. Don't wear anything crazy. So like today, I'm wearing my Catwoman shirt. I would not wear this to an audition, even if it's black. I might turn it inside out and wear it to an audition. And if you have to do that, that's fine. They don't care. They will appreciate that you're wearing the uniform. First thing you need to know, nobody cold reads perfectly. If they do, they've read the play before and but nobody cold reads perfectly. Don't expect to. Don't try to. It's okay to make mistakes. You're going to. Everybody will. You may not realize other people are making mistakes, but in their head, they are saying the same thing you are as crap, crap, crap. I should have said that differently. Oh, crap. That's what that meant. Dang it. What should I do? Should I do that? Don't overthink it. Just read it. Give it your best shot. Even if you are doing the complete opposite of what the director wants, one, you might inspire them. Now, if they say this character is very sullen and grumpy, don't play them as hyper and happy. Like, use some logic. Don't do that. But your portrayal may inspire them, or it may make them think, oh, they're horrible at that character, but they'd be great at this one. You never know. My first lead role I went in and auditioned to, it was a play about 3 sisters, and there were monologues in between each scene by different actresses talking about their woman power moments. And I came in to read for one of those. I didn't want one of the lead roles. I didn't expect to get one. But the way I read one of them was... It wasn't long after my mother had died. I was going through a lot, and the director, who knew me very well, had me read a monologue about a woman whose mother abandoned her, and so she's, trying to just, serve her community, and she goes and visits women in nursing homes just as kind of like a community service thing. And after one of these women that she connected with passed away, that woman left her Bible, and she finds out that was her mother, so she actually got to have a relationship with her. And I realized this halfway through my cold read of the monologue, because I've developed the ability to kind of read a line ahead, and it's sort of more of a quick memorizing thing where I just memorize one line and say it, and while I'm saying it, I'm reading the next line. That takes time to develop. Don't try to do it at first, but you'll eventually develop that ability too. Once I realized where this scene was going, I'm like, well, I'm going to cry. And I thought this was kind of a bitch move of the director to give me this one to read. This is not the one she told me I was going to be reading for. It was just an extra one she had me read because I was there. But But fine, you want to make me cry, I'm going to make you cry right back. And I just let my emotion go with it. And I let my tears flow and I just poured it into my performance. And I didn't get that role. I got the lead. So crap happens. You never know. Like, I wasn't right for the role I was reading for, but it led me into a different role, a better role. Better because I didn't have to cry on stage every night. Because if I had to do that monologue every night for 3 weeks, I would be sobbing at the end of it every time. So I was not happy when I realized what part she wanted me to come read for. So all of that to say, just go for it. If you stumble over your tongue, don't break character. Don't stop and say, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Don't. Either continue on with the next word or just and repeat the word. It's okay. You don't have to know every word. When I was auditioning for Jane Eyre, there was some French words, and like one of the characters uses some French turns of phrase because she's an uppity classist, you know what? I've already said it a couple of times. I don't know how to speak French. And it was TANT space PIS. I had never seen that phrase in my life. And you know how my American ass said it on stage in front of everybody? Tant piss. I knew that wasn't right. I knew damn well that wasn't right. But you know what? That's what it looks like to me. So that's how I read it. And it was supposed to be a comedic scene. So it worked and everybody was laughing and it was fine. And afterwards, the director or one of the other actresses comes up and says, by the way, it's tant pis. I'm like, oh, thanks. If I get the part, now I know how to say it. It's okay. If you can laugh at yourself on stage, that shows that you're a good sport about it. It's okay to do that. If you are reading for a drama, try not to make your character humorous. If you are reading for a comedy, try to be lighthearted. It's okay to laugh and fool around. And as you're reading, it's okay to, like, unless you're on stage by yourself, it's okay to interact with the other characters. Like, if it's a romantic scene and it says the characters kiss, don't kiss your audition partner. Don't do that. Don't go that far. You can just kind of lean in and go, mwah, literally kiss your hand, like lean towards them, and then move on. Faces don't touch in auditions. Faces don't touch till pretty much Hell Week. At least in community theaters. I've never actually had a kissing part, but I have directed several, and we just mark it until about a week before performance. But like, if it says, you know, character hugs the other, you may not want to go in for a full bear hug, but it's okay to do an arm around them. Make sure you have deodorant on and perfume, not heavy. If it says character punches the other, don't punch him in the face, but it's okay to do a stage punch at him. Punch him in the arm gently. Just interact a little bit. It's okay. Totally fine. Auditions are a time for a director to see potential. They're not expecting to see final characters. They're not expecting polish. They just want to see what you can do up there. And the more fun you have with it, the more the director is going to want you in the show. Because directors want people that are easy to work with. And if you have fun with it on stage, then you're easy to work with. Now, not too much. Don't make an ass of yourself. Don't make a spectacle. Don't be one of those actors that has to have the attention on them all the time, even when it's not their scene. They don't want that. But somebody who can keep it lighthearted and crack a joke from time to time, yeah, that's great. They're going to be fun to work with. What if there's somebody in the audition you don't like? They don't exist unless you're on stage. And when they're on stage, they're not them, they're their character. In other words, don't bring outside crap into the playhouse. There are absolutely people in our local community theater I'd rather not work with. However, if we're at the same audition, I'm not going to jeopardize my chances by starting crap. If they want to start crap, they're welcome to. I will sit there silently and ignore them. But I ain't going to start shit. Don't start none, won't be none. And if you're cast together, just because you have to act together on stage doesn't mean you have to be friends off stage. When you walk on stage, you are fully your character. It doesn't matter if you're acting against your worst enemy. But when you walk off that stage, handle yourself like a professional. Same thing at auditions. Um, the same thing kind of goes if you're best friends at the audition. Don't beg the director to let you and your best friend audition together. Don't be loud and giggling and chatting with each other in the audience. You should be respectful. You should watch everybody else, laugh at appropriate times, applaud after everybody else's audition, support your fellow auditioners. It costs you nothing. They are not your competition. They are your future teammates. So it doesn't hurt at all. Don't ever say anything negative while you are in that building. You wait till you are in the car going home on the phone with your bestie. Do not say it in the theater. If somebody makes a mistake, don't comment on it. You tell them, good job. You did good. If they say, oh no, I was awful. Nah, you were good. You covered it good. Or, oh no, I tripped there. Oh man, I didn't even notice. You covered that so well. Be positive. Be supportive. That's what you'd want. Do that to others. If the play, like Jane Eyre, takes place in England, auditions are a great time to ask if the director wants accents. Usually the director will tell you. Unless specifically told, do not attempt to do your audition with an accent you are not 100% confident in. I know damn well I can't do a French accent, so I didn't know if that, if the character I was reading that had the French line, if she was from France, I would not have read her with a French accent because I don't know how to do a believable French accent. Jane Eyre is set in England. I'm reasonably confident in my ability to do an English accent well enough to please an Arkansan audience. I do not say I'm a professional. I do not say I sound great. But I know I'm good enough for this audience. So I did do my parts of my audition with a British accent, parts of it without, because the director said, I don't think we're going to be doing this with a British accent because we're going to have such a large cast. It would be, and such a large cast and a lot of first-time actors. So it would be very difficult to get a consistent accent. And so much of Jane Eyre is about classes, and the British accent changes so much depending on what class you are. It would be very difficult to make it authentic with the cast we have, and she knew that. So there's only like one or two characters that are going to have an accent, and that's because their character specifically will be enhanced by one. So like there's one family that's in the play that she is going to be like, is from England. The rest of the characters are all American. That's just what we're going with. That's her choice. Okay. If they tell you to do an accent and you're not good at it, do your best. If they tell you to do British and you end up in Australia, you tried. That's all that matters. If they tell you to do German and you sound French, you might want to check out a map and watch some movies, but you tried. Just try it. You never know. And as long as the director sees that you're willing to experiment, accents can be taught. So don't be terrified by that. What if it's a musical? You need, usually they want 16 bars a cappella, about a minute. It does not have to be a song from the musical. In fact, it's better if it's not. It does not have to be even a song from theater at all. If you want to walk in there and sing the Happy Birthday song because that's the only song you know by heart, then by George, sing the Happy Birthday song. Yes, I have seen people do it. Yes, they have gotten cast. Sing the song that best you sing the best, and 16 bars is approximately one verse and a chorus. In longer songs, it might just be the verse or just be the chorus. if you ever need help figuring out what is 16 bars of a particular song, you're welcome to message me. I will happily pull out a 16 bar section for you. You can also look up the sheet music. You can find copies of sheet music anywhere. This is what the song that we're doing in here, and you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we know there's 6 bars on each line, so 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There you go. That's 8. That's 16 bars. Now we're singing the God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. Just for the sake of it, I will tell you 16 bars is the first verse. And any song, pull up the sheet music, look at where you start singing. So I actually start singing here and start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's not long enough. I better throw something else in. Most directors don't get that, at least at community theater level, they're not going to get that strict. But about one verse, about one chorus, that's about 16 bars. If it doesn't say if it's a cappella or not, bring in your sheet music. I would recommend, if they don't tell you, bring in your sheet music and bring a karaoke track that is already cut to these 16 bars you plan to sing with a bar introduction. So just like a 2-second introduction, and then you start singing. Already have it cut. Having it on your phone is probably fine. Most theaters at this point have these kind of connectors in their sound system, and they will probably have them for all types of phone. It used to be, back in the day, it had to be on a CD or a tape. When I first started auditioning, started in theater, it had to be sheet music, because running things up to the sound booth was problematic. Nowadays, having it on your phone's fine. Heck, half the time they might have a mic there and just have you play your phone into the mic. I've seen that too. But be prepared to go a cappella, because that might be what they want. A cappella means without music, by the way. They might also ask you what part you sing. If you are female, your choices are soprano, alto. Now, technically there's soprano, mezzo, and alto, but let's stick with soprano and alto. If your voice, it sounds more natural and it's easier on high notes, you're a soprano. If you love those deep, sultry ballads and you like those low notes, you're an alto. If you're a guy, if you're more comfortable singing in the top half of your voice, you're a tenor. If you can rumble out those low notes and sing along and do the drum tracks to things, you're a bass. That's the basics. The music director will put you where he needs you once you get there, but that's at least an indication. And if you honestly don't know, just tell the director, I've never sung in groups before, I don't know what I am. They will listen to your song and figure it out from that. And if they can't tell by listening to your song, either 1, you're really freaking good, or 2, they're not worth their salt. So you don't have to worry about it. Just get up there and sing. Be conscious of what type of musical you're auditioning for, what type of music they have. If you're auditioning for Phantom of the Opera, don't come in with some brassy, belty, Idina Menzel or Kristen Chenoweth style belty song. Think more choral, something lighter, more operatic. If you're auditioning for Hairspray, you better come in with something snappy. Don't come in with some long, slow ballad for Hairspray. Think about it. If you're going for Oklahoma, well, let's back up. Some songs in musical theater are not meant to sound good to traditional ears. So you don't necessarily have to have the best voice to get the part. For instance, in Oklahoma, Ado Annie, I'm just the girl who can't say no. I'm in a terrible fix. She's supposed to sound like that. She's supposed to sound squeaky. In Guys and Dolls, there's a character, and I don't remember any of her songs, but she sings like a little girl like this all the time, like Bernadette from Big Bang Theory. There are character songs, so you don't have to have a fantastic voice to do a character song. So don't worry about it. If you want to audition, go audition. And they may also have you talk the song. There's always ways around an actor who can't carry a tune. There are ways around it, I promise you. There's a chorus line. There's an entire character whose song is about how he can't sing. And he talks the whole song. And his girlfriend will every once in a while sing the word sing. There are ways around it. So anyways, that's like all the information you really need for auditions. The biggest thing to remember, everybody is nervous. You have no idea what the director's vision is, so just do your best and have fun. Theater is supposed to be fun. If it's not fun, why the hell are you doing it? Because if you're watching this video, I doubt you're a professional. And if you're not doing it professionally, then you should be doing it for fun or for growth. You are going to be nervous. Oh, sorry. One other super important thing. They generally don't give you microphones when you're auditioning, and especially depending on the size of your theater, you need to be able to project. Not yell, project. There's a difference. Yes, that was me slipping into my theater voice. When I'm on stage, I talk a little differently than I do when I have a microphone sitting right in front of me. To project, if you want to learn how to do that, you need to lie on the ground. Yes, this is the easiest way to learn. Trust me, I have taught hundreds of kids how to project, even the quiet ones. You can do any play in a football stadium, and a trained actor will be heard all the way up in the cheap seats. Without hurting yourself, without straining your vocal cords, it is totally possible. Singing, not so much. It's a little harder when you start manipulating those vocal cords into musical notes. But if you're speaking, anybody is capable of being heard in the cheap seats in any theater without a microphone. Here's the trick. Lie flat on your back. If you want to bend your knees so that your back, your spine, is perfectly on the ground. When you do that, you want to first focus on how you're breathing. Your shoulders should not move when you take a breath, which means you might have to adjust your posture. I'm like, am I doing this correctly? I haven't done choir in a while. You also really don't want your chest to move. So when you're starting, put a hand on your shoulder, and a hand on your chest, and take a breath. If they move, you need to use your stomach muscles more. So if your shoulders are moving, leave your hand on your shoulder, put your hand on your stomach, and focus on pushing your hand out as you breathe. If your chest is moving, leave your hand on your chest, put your shoulder hand on your stomach, and focus on moving your stomach hand as you breathe. It feels weird as hell as first, I know that. But I'm doing that so that you can feel where your diaphragm is. And your diaphragm is right below your rib cage. Your diaphragm is the muscle that actually pulls down and pulls your lungs open. Your chest moving up and down does nothing. It does not help you get a deep breath. Your diaphragm pulling down or pushing out, that's what you feel pushing out of your stomach, that is pulling the balloons that are your lungs open and sucking air in. So now that you understand how that works, the way that you speak louder is the opposite. So if you're pushing your hands out when you're breathing, push in on your diaphragm when you're speaking, and you will feel kind of your voice change from its normal, where it resonates like all up here, and all your volume comes from how much it's ringing around in your head. When you push on the diaphragm, and you will eventually learn to contract the diaphragm without your hands pushing it. But when you contract that diaphragm, you're forcing air out at a higher speed. And you're forcing air out with more pressure. The more pressure that goes through your vocal cords, the louder you will be. Practice it for a few hours over a week before you audition, so that you can be loud enough to be heard in your audition, because that is very important. You need to be loud. If you talk like this in your audition, they're going to be really... Like, if you've ever watched Pitch Perfect and you know the Asian girl, she would never be cast in a play. She doesn't use her diaphragm. I love her. She's amazing, and she's creepy as hell. She's an amazing actress, but she is supposed to represent the person who's too quiet to be in choir. Don't be that person in an audition. You won't get cast. So practice being loud, not yelling. A director's going to tell if you're yelling and tell you not to yell. They might say you're being too loud anyways, especially if you're like in our theater. In our theater, the director literally uses the stage as her desk when we're doing auditions. We don't have to be real loud to be heard. And our theater is fairly small. So we don't have to be super loud to be heard. But I don't know what your theater is going to look like. So be ready. I have had directors that will sit in the very back row of the theater, and if they can't hear you in your cold reading, you're not getting a part. Oh, well, sorry, sucks to be you. That's been their attitude. In fact, I told you about the old guard and the new guard. The old guard would do that. There was a couple directors who would hold auditions. They'd put a table over the row of chairs in front of them, and they would hold auditions from the back row. And if they couldn't hear you, you didn't get cast. So just be aware. It's always better if they have to pull you back than if they have to tell you to give me more. So it's better to be too loud than not loud enough. They can tell you to quiet down, and you can always dial it back. That's somewhat true with overacting. So don't go overboard with the acting, because then it just looks ridiculous and looks like you learned how to act by watching the Disney Channel. By the way, if you didn't know the Disney Channel is overacting, it is. Don't learn from them. Sorry. If you want to see a really... We're not having an earthquake. My dog is scratching herself. It shakes my desk when she does that. Thank you, Jazz. If you want to see some really good examples of acting, go watch the professors in the Harry Potter series. Every one of them is a master. And they can be very funny, or they can be very serious, but they make real complete characters. If you want other examples, oh God, what's another wonderfully acted show? You might try The Queen on Netflix. That's very well acted. Hell, go watch The Avengers. That's more of going to show you some comedy and realism, but just don't learn how to act from Disney Channel. It's not real. Their acting style is so bad. But it's funny for kids. And kids will laugh at it. Adults won't. Adults find it annoying. Don't do it. And it doesn't translate to live theater very well at all. If you just are scared about how to do it, literally think, how would I say this line if I were saying it to my best friend? And say it how you would say it. You know, if it says angry, how would you say this line if you were in a fight with your best friend? If you want an exercise that you can practice that, find a friend and have them tell you tell you a bunch of situations. Like, you're flirting with the girl who made your coffee or the guy who made your coffee. But instead of saying hi, coming up with words, just say it 1, 2, 3, 4. Just say the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. It's better if you can get somebody else to play the other person and then they can say 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's just learning how to put emotion into your voice. So like, you're coming up on somebody who you don't like, but you don't want them to know. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you're walking up to somebody that you think is mad at you, but you're not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about putting the emotion in your voice. And so that'll get you ready. If you can do it with 1, 2, 3, 4, you can do it with whatever words are written in whatever script you're cold reading. So just practice different situations and how would you say them, and just take the words out and put 1, 2, 3, 4 in. That way, when you get to your audition, you just replace 1, 2, 3, 4 with whatever line you're reading. Easy peasy. So anyways, that's auditions. And if you want to know why I'm filming down here instead of up at my table where I usually do, this is where I work. That's where I'm like on stage. And so when I'm here is where I have my script and where I'm learning my lines and all of that. So thanks for joining me and have a nice day. And if you like this, stick around, because I guess I'm going to be doing a couple more of these as I go through the process.